Reports of women being murdered continuing to dominate headlines. Activists are pushing for change. So what are we doing wrong as a society? Tonight on Friday Live, we examine the harsh realities of GBV, its root causes, and why we must stop normalizing such violence. Join the conversation.
Team of DCI officers are on the ground carrying out investigations.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations launches an investigation into the events that led to the violence against former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his allies during a funeral ceremony in Limuru. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists, Dentists Union and the Kenya Union for Clinical Officers threatened to strike over unpaid salaries, poor working conditions and exclusion from the Social Health Insurance Fund.
This is a bold move and the start of a growth journey. We are not ending journalism. We are propagating journalism to the next level where we can reach millions of Kenyans every day through our products.
People Daily makes history as Kenya's first fully digital newspaper. Newspaper now available only through digital platform. And on Friday Live tonight, we examine the harsh realities of GBV, its root causes, and why we must stop normalizing such violence. Join the conversation. Thank you for joining this broadcast. My name is Remy Majala. Our sign language interpreter for tonight is Evelyn Wamboy. Now, Limuru Violence Probe, Directorate of Criminal Investigations, launches an investigation into the events that led to the violence against former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his allies during a funeral ceremony in Limuru. Healthcare crisis, of course, we'll bring you that story, but first let's take a look at that particular one about the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
Just one day after former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his allies were attacked by goons at a funeral ceremony in Limuru, Kiambu County, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, has launched an inquiry into the incident.
A team of DCI officers are on the ground carrying out investigations, and at this moment, statements from the family have been taken to enable the investigations to establish what transpired.
According to a statement from the National Police Service, authorities have denied reports of the arrest of former Limuru Member of Parliament Peter Mwathi, whose whereabouts remain unclear. Kiambu County OCPD has confirmed that groundwork is already underway to determine the facts of the incident.
To the members of the public who may be having any leading information to avail it to any nearest police station.
This even as Limuru MP Kiratu Shege, who was present during the incident but was seated in a different tent with other leaders, recorded a statement at the DCI headquarters despite previously denying any involvement.
Ningekuwa mtu wa kuvuruga, si basi ningejua vile nitajikinga. Mimi napigwa, alafu watu yangu wamepigwa, gari yangu imepigwa, kwani sikuwa nimejipanga. Kama ni watu wa kupanga, si basi unajipanga na vile wewe utatoroka ama nini.
Kiambu Senator Karungo Thangwa, who had been summoned to appear before the Nyeri DCI regional boss, failed to show up. His lawyer Ndegwa Njiru stated that the senator has no information to provide in the ongoing investigations. Leaders from Kiambu County are now speaking out, condemning the growing culture of political intolerance.
Kutoka hiyo jambo litendeke, kukosa kwake, tumekuwa na shida ya kimawazo, kukosa kura, shida ya kufikiria kwani angekuwa ako wapi, hatujajua venye amekaa, amerara wapi.
Colleagues who are with him report that they saw him being bundled into an unmarked vehicle and was whisked away to an unknown destination. We asked the investigating officers to move with speed and locate the whereabouts of Honorable Ireri to ease the suffering, pain and distress on his family, colleagues and his electorate caused by his disappearance.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Now, we apologize for that confusion. That was the story about Limuru violence probe, and we'll bring you, of course, the one about former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua a bit later in this bulletin. Now, the family of the late Erastus Muigai is pleading for justice and support following a chaotic burial in Limuru, Kiambu County that left destruction and injuries in its wake. They're calling on security agencies to investigate and bring those responsible to book as suspicions grow over whether the attack was premeditated. Meanwhile, leaders including Kikuyu Member of Parliament Kimani Ichung'wah have condemned the incident, urging an end to the misuse of funerals for political purposes. Here's more on this developing story, and Gladys Midecha has more on that report.
One day after a chaotic burial ceremony in Limuru, Kiambu County that resulted in massive destruction and injuries, the family of the late Erastus Muigai is appealing for support to help them recover from the devastating loss.
Wale ambaye wataweza kuwa na huruma juu ya sisi wangetusaidia anga tulipe hazara hii ya viti vilivunjika na vinginevyo.
Dominic Muigai Kingori, the deceased's father, has also called on security agencies to conduct a thorough investigation and bring those responsible for the shameful act to justice. The family strongly believes the attack was premeditated, citing suspicions of an orchestrated plan behind the violence. They have condemned the incident, urging authorities to act swiftly.
Mimi nilisikia wengine walipokuwa wametoka Kikuyu. Ni kwa fununu, sina ushahidi kamili, maana mimi nimeokoka na sitaki kuongea uongo. La falia kiraya bila unafiki, hawa wanaelewa maana kulikuwa maofisa wengine wanafaria kiraya. Hii mambo inajulikana.
Limuru Police Commander Mary Gashie confirmed that investigations are underway to identify and apprehend those involved.
A team of DCI officers are on the ground carrying out investigations, and at this moment, statements from the family have been taken to enable the investigations to establish what transpired.
She assured the public that no one responsible would escape justice.
None has been arrested, but efforts are being made to arrest the perpetrators. I appeal to the members of the public who may be having any leading information to avail it to any nearest police station.
The incident has drawn widespread condemnation, including from Kikuyu MP and National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah.
We condemn mambo ambayo tuliona jana yakitokea huko Limuru, na niwauliza wale wanasiasa wanaotumia siasa za upuzi, sababu hizo ni siasa za upuzi, kwenda kupeleka siasa kwa mazishi, kutojali wale ambao wamefiwa na familia yao, sababu watu wanataka kwenda kujitafutia yao wenyewe.
Gladys Midecha, K24 TV.
The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, is set to announce the start of a nationwide strike tomorrow during their National Delegates Convention, that is NDC. Speaking to K24, KMPDU Secretary General, that is Dr. Davji Atela, said the irreducible minimum is for the government to honor the collective bargaining agreement, insisting they will not engage in further dialogue. Brian Amwai reports on the looming health workers' strike that could paralyze healthcare services nationwide, as the Kenya clinicians also give a 3 weeks notice.
The death of 2 intern doctors, poor working conditions and frustrations from their employers are some of the issues driving doctors back to the streets just 7 months after their last strike. KMPDU maintains that this time round there will be no negotiations.
Which we've done for the last 45 days. And we have been negotiating with a stone that cannot turn and cannot change anything. We keep saying that bargaining or negotiating with the Ministry of Health is like milking a stone or making an iron. Nothing will come out. So once we realize that nothing is coming out, then we have now resort to give a strike notice. Why? Because strikes is not the breakdown of negotiation. It's actually just a build-up and a strengthen it.
Adding to the crisis, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers has issued a 3-week strike notice, accusing the Social Health Authority of sidelining them in the rollout of the Social Health Insurance Fund. KUSO says over 30,000 members will down their tools from December 23rd, protesting exclusion from the SHA's list of service providers, despite operating over 1,000 private facilities. KUSO chairperson Peterson Wachira warned of a looming collapse of the health sector if SHA does not rescind its decision, which has already affected over 6 million Kenyans. He announced weekly demonstrations to pressure the government, terming SHA's new directives discriminatory and mismanaged.
Our advisory council sat yesterday and directed us that if in the next 3 weeks this discrimination and exclusion under SHA is not going to be resolved, on 23rd of December, clinical officers, all of us, shall be downing our tools. Because if they feel that they do not need our services, we can allow them to.
KMPDU is also demanding salary arrears for doctors and interns, some unpaid for 4 months. While interns were to earn 206,000 as per the CBA, the government revised the amount to 47,000 to 70,000, a move the union rejects.
The debt that we have seen for the doctor interns that have occurred, it is the government. Had they paid these interns, had they paid these doctors their wages, had they implemented the CBA as we agreed, nobody will be here in the need to go on strike.
Okay. Both unions agree that SHA's policies are worsening healthcare delivery, with clinicians like anesthetists and eye surgeons reporting stalled operations and limited patient care. On Saturday, KMPDU will hold its National Doctors' Convention, where over 600 doctors are expected to attend. The strike announcement, together with KUSO's planned actions, could cripple healthcare services nationwide. The last doctor strike lasted 56 days, forcing the government to adopt a nationwide approach to resolve it. Brian Amoai, K24, Nairobi.
The government is now ready to collaborate with the media to foster democracy in the country. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has emphasized the need to end the strained relationship between the two vital sectors and work towards uniting the country through collaborative efforts. Mumbi Wambugu reports.
Many of them were injured as well during the Gen Z-led protests.
The government has acknowledged the strained relationship between the leadership of the country and the fourth estate. The deputy president has now urged government agencies to work closely with the media in an effort to achieve peace and unity in the country.
Government has been accused of failing to protect media freedom and the personal safety of journalists. We must bridge this divide and build a working partnership grounded on accountability and responsibility.
Kindiki, who was speaking during the 7th Annual Editors' Convention in Nakuru that brought together hundreds of media stakeholders, asked the media to focus on responsible reporting and avoid divisive news that may stir tension in the country.
And whoever is entrusted with great power and great influence must, and I say must, be subjected to great accountability. To whom much is given, much is required.
The government has further committed to protect journalists while in the line of duty, assuring that punitive incidents of journalists' attacks will be addressed to ensure justice for all affected individuals. The media fraternity has, on their part, said that the sector is currently facing emerging challenges which threaten the freedom of media, including pending bills by the government, as well as shifting attention to the digital space.
Journalists in Kenya have constantly faced serious threats, both online and offline. The year 2024 saw increased harassment, trolling, and cyberbullying targeting media professionals.
Zubeida Kananu, the Kenya Editors Guild president, has said mental health is now a major challenge among its journalists, noting that it calls for collaborative effort to address the situation. The 7th Annual Editors Convention was attended by stakeholders from various sectors where matters on internal and public concern were discussed, including climate change, digital migration, and media freedom. Mombi Wambogo, K24 TV.
Right, we're taking a short break right here on Friday Live. We'll be back with more stories after this break. Do stay with us.
As the sun rises, so do we, as we trust it to rise and set without any worries.